Hey guys and gals, this is James from Forex Alchemist. I'm here bringing you another Endless Space 2 expert guide. This time we are going to be playing the Sophons. Just like the other guides that we've been doing, I'm just going to play turns 1 through 30 with some commentary on how the Sophons will go later into the game. We're going to be doing 10 total competitors with 9 AIs on endless difficulty. You can see, as usual, we aren't including the Vodiani, and I actually am going to include one copy of the Unfallen, because I've heard that the AI has actually gotten better for the Unfallen. And instead of 2 Lumeris, we'll do 2 Empire, because the Empire is usually a little bit more of a threat than the Lumis. Hard minor civilization difficulty, huge galaxy with a random shape, few constellations, and medium density. So, let's go ahead and get started with Sophons. So, this video has actually been one of the toughest that I've put together so far. Sophons were the first race that I played when I got Endless Space 2, and they seemed strong at the time, but after developing strategies for Cravers and Riftborn, Lumeris, and Empire, coming back to them, they felt so weak. And so, the strategy that I'm going to lay out here today, sorry about the noise in the background, the strategy I'm going to lay out here today in the first 30 turns is kind of a unique one that uses Sophon's strengths and kind of tries to dodge some of their weaknesses. So, just getting started here, the big ability of Sophons is this one, Omniscience, which gives a science bonus for discovering technologies based on how many players have already researched it. And so, as we jump to our text screen here, if we've got a technology like astrofinance that nobody has yet, we get a 50% boost in science to research that technology. So instead of 35, if we click astrofinance, we get 53 science. If there's something that other groups already have, like even if one other race has it, that drops to 25%. And let's see if there's some that lots of groups have. Yeah, and if it's something that lots of guys have, like 4 out of 10, drops to 10%, and as soon as half the races have it, it drops to no bonus. And, as long as we're talking about Omniscience, minor thing is that Omniscience doesn't apply to ship research. So when you're getting new hulls, you have to pay full price for those. Okay. So, other cool things about the Sophons is that they explore very well because of this Pathfinder ability. So revealing the location of unexplored adjacent nodes. So we can see all the way through the star lanes, which allows us to say like, aha, this is going to be a system with some planets around it. This one doesn't have a dot there, so that's not a star. There's no, that's not going to be a colonizable system. It's going to be a nebula or something. And here's another system here. And then they have fast travelers, which gives +2 move points. They also start with feeble warriors, which is reduction in infantry health, but that's not too much of a problem because even though their infantry health sucks, we're going to be moving to tanks early. And so with the combination of really good science and fast movement, I think that the Sophons are more able to research stuff in the northern part of this tree than any of the other races, because they can get the things to keep their industry ticking along in the other 3 quadrants and still have science left over, where if they poured it into this area, wouldn't be getting them a whole lot, so that it can spill over into the northern sector. And they can continue to build up into an economic powerhouse and an expansion powerhouse while simultaneously getting military technologies. And so that's the way that we're going to play Sophons, and actually very militaristic, very aggressive Sophons. So, the other reason that we do that's worth touching on, is our friend Asa, the Sophon hero. So, Asa is a counselor Sophon, which means that in his first abilities, I don't know if you guys watched the Lumeris video or if you have seen the Lumeris early hero, but the Lumeris starts as a Seeker, which right here has an ability that gives +20 science per level, which is so good early on. So you can get plus 40 science by turn 10 when you drop him back into the system. Compare that to the Sophon's ability here, plus 10 on system and 1 per hero level. So when you drop, if we went pure science, gave our hero these 2 points and dropped him back on our system at turn 10 or so, at level 3, he would only be giving 26 science instead of 40. Still good, but not nearly as amazing. So instead, let's take a look at some of the other things that he's got. So counselors have this plus 10% damage boost here that can have 2 levels, and they have this Sophon ability that can give vision and move points on fleets. And then as you move out to the next tier, you've got this guy, Burning Light, which gives plus 40% energy weapon damage on the whole fleet, and it can be leveled up twice, so you can get plus 80% energy weapon damage as soon as you hit level 8 hero. So that one right there means that you can almost double the strength of your fleets if you're going energy weapons. And then there's like a little bit of hull plating absorption and health on fleet over here, and some more economic bonuses, vision range, and then actually as we dive deeper into the Sophons tree, there's this one that gives 8 movement points, and this one that gives extra shield capacities and probes. So the point is that until about level 8, this guy, if we get him to level 8, this guy is an amazing early game hero. The Sophons and the Vodiani, I think, are 2 of the best general types. It also means that we're going to want to focus on lasers, and we'll get into that more as we talk about ship design later on. Okay, so let's take a look at our starting planet. So Sophons start with a boreal, which is cold and fertile, and has pretty bad industry, which is always sad. And we've got an arid over here as well, toxic and arctic. So the toxic and arctic obviously aren't doing a lot for us early game as both tier 3 colonization planets, but the arid, and especially since it's a huge arid with a bunch of industry, this can be pretty useful for us. Not perfect, but definitely useful. So let's pull back. And now we've got a grand total of, am I reading this right? Yes. We've got a grand total of 0 curiosities on our starting planet, so that's exciting. So we're going to actually go ahead and start out by sending our incubator ship over here to explore. Oh, and we may have just gotten a little bit lucky. 5 planets here, including a huge tundra and a small Mediterranean. And then we've got another arid and another arid. So it's pretty clear that getting the arid tech, PEV scale accelerators early on, is going to be really beneficial to us, even though we have some, like irradiated isn't great here. And then life form titanium, so that's 3, and the total of 6 food. And our tundra here also has 6 food. It's got strange fossils, which give extra industry, which is nice. And aurora waves, which give happiness and reduced science. Excuse me. Okay, so that means that we're almost definitely going to want to settle the small Mediterranean first, and then move to the tundra afterwards. As always, as soon as you find a good enough place to settle, you just do it right away. So we're going to go ahead and be unabashed about settling our place. And this is great, actually, because in the early stages like this, as we looked at our first place, like it's not as though we have another tier 0, like a Terran or something in our home spot. Getting to the arid was going to take a little while, so this could have been a really tough start, especially since the other 2 planets are quite a ways away. So if we didn't have something nice close by, it could have been a problem for us, but this is going to be an absolutely excellent system as it grows up with the double arids, Mediterranean, and the big tundra. So, cool. This looks like it might be a decent game. Not an overpowered and not an underpowered start. I would say this is average and powerful, something that we can definitely work with. Now, one of the strategies that our team uses a lot is to take a detector, equip a hero to it, and then use that scout ship to explore a couple of curiosities, then reset the probes and explore more and on the first turn. Sophons, however, only start with 100 dust, and with only 100 dust, even if we reset the probes, it'll cost 80 dust at minimum, and we really want this merchants and money upgrade to boost the creation of our first outpost. So I've played around with this a fair bit, and I think that it's actually not worth it to do merchants and money, or sorry, to do the probe upgrade, the probe reset for Sophons. I want to get to that 150 first, rush the colony ship, and then worry about getting more probes and doing more exploration. To compensate for that, though, I often build a scout ship here on our home world first. But we're not going to build a normal scout ship. We're going to take one that has no weapons and just 2 probes. It'll still have 6 movement speed because Sophon fleets are so fast, and it'll only cost us 110 industry, so we can get it done in 4 turns. And then we'll put a couple of other things into the queue. Alright, and now of course we have our 2 probes here. Our 2 probes will, like the main purpose of probing things right now is to get some experience points for our hero. So he's not going to do, let's inspect him again, just talk about his abilities. His baseline abilities are to give extra fleet health and to give 1 science per person on a planet. So these do very little in the early game, especially as a governor. He does almost nothing. So we definitely get the most out of him by just equipping him on this fleet. And before we actually do the exploration of the curiosities, we have to touch on the next thing with Sophons. So the Soph government is one of the most interesting starting ones because they start as a democracy, which means they can have 2 active laws from the very beginning, and they get scientists and religious. So this gives us Oracle of Science, which is the scientist baseline law, so it allows you to research texts from the next stage, which we saw here before. Like even in the north tree, without researching any of these, I can start researching the tier 2 ones. So that's kind of neat. Honestly, it's not a huge benefit compared to like the ecologist one, which is just fantastic. But the laws that you get are actually interesting. I love Starbill Boogie early on, which allows you to get 3 extra movement points on all of your ships. And Admit and Improve, which is the religious law that gives plus 25% experience on heroes, is incredibly useful if you're, trying to level up a hero quickly. So before we explore the curiosities, I'm actually going to pass Admit and Improve to boost the experience that our hero will get from exploring those things. We don't need extra movement speed for our ships, so for our second law, I'm going to put in Super Tax Act, which will get us, 3 extra dust per person, and means that we'll be gaining 12. So that in, depending on how we go, in 5 turns or so, maybe 4 turns if we get a bit lucky, we can do this. So curiosities normally give 6 experience, and so after exploring 2 curiosities, we would normally have 12. Right now, we're at 0. Dust trees, and you see instead of 6, we have 8. And second one here, more dust trees on our 2 places there. And so now we have 15, 25% more than the 12 we expected to have. Cool, right? Worth noting, I already made a small mistake here, because heroes also get XP when they explore a new node. So instead of sending the incubator there first, I guess you could debate this. It probably would have been worthwhile, given that I had no curiosities on my home planet, to put my hero onto the incubator ship and send it in this direction, so that the hero could have gotten the experience from discovering as well. All right, but I did make the flip side of that is that by waiting and moving my ship over, getting the colonization, and only now equipping the hero or attaching the hero to the fleet, he's still got full moves. So I can, move my colony ship here, or my scout ship here. We can explore the 2 curiosities. He still has 6 moves, and that allows him to go explore this in 2 turns. Meaning he'll be there next turn. Alright, other stuff that we need to worry about is our technologies. As most of you guys know, I'm a huge fan of xenolinguistics. As a first tech, we have titanium on our colony already, so getting this first allows us to start generating titanium. And on top of that, the Sophons have a better version of the already excellent xeno-industrial infrastructure that gives an extra 10 industry on cold in addition to fertile and temperate planets. So this allows it not to be so terrible for their boreal start, where they'll still get plus 30 out of their boreal, unlike, say, the Horatio that start on the Mediterranean, which is hot, not temperate, and xeno-industrial only gives it 10 industry instead of 30. Which is actually one of the reasons that Horatio have such a terrible start. So, with this, I think we're ready to move to turn 2. We've got our hero, we've got him exploring a couple of things. We redesigned our ships, building our first ship, and we know that this will be ready in 28 turns, but we're going to try to get it done substantially sooner than that. Alright, ending the turn. One of the other cool things about Sophons is they can tell where minor civilizations are so easily, because if this were a minor civilization, for example, you could actually see the gray ring even before you get there. So now, we leave Admit and Improve on. So up here, Admit and Improve is still on. We can undo it now, but we're not going to yet because we're going to send our hero to this node. You saw he gained experience, right? He's up to 1, so he gained 6 experience from that. And now he can get the first thing we're going to give him. So we talked a little bit about the levelings before. He's going to have to get 5 things from this first tree. So in the early game, before he can go back on the planet, we'll give him extra vision and move speed. And then we'll give him 1 point in the science bonus and the extra damage. This, small bonus to dust and the stuff up here is okay, but really not that good. Okay, so then other things. What should we be doing with this detector now? Well, he's going to take a few turns to replenish his probes. Down here we have another boreal planet with a couple of curiosities on it, and it looks like anomalies and research deposits. So probably what I'll want to do is send him this way, send our friend here this direction, and and then that will allow us to explore these 2 curiosities with this guy once he goes here and comes back. And then in a few turns we'll want our hero to be meeting up with our new detector, our probe ship, here to get the, I think we have 3, maybe 4 curiosities? It looks like 3. 1, 2, 3 curiosities here. Okay. So the other thing that we need to do this turn, and we'll be doing a lot, so I'll just talk a bit about it right now, but I'll keep mentioning it throughout the video, is that Admit and Improve, because it's one of the faction laws, has a cost, right? So as we look at these, like Star Bill Boogie is the same. It costs 1 influence per population, and the Sophons don't exactly pump out influence. We're only generating 7, and so right now we're using 3 from our laws, which is huge. So if we don't need it this turn, we should definitely kill Admit and Improve and get as much influence as possible. And so maximizing the amount of influence that we can get in the early part of the game is really important if we want to be able to do stuff with that influence, like impress minor civilizations, and not just be tooling around at near zero. Okay. So with this, you can kind of see we are going to be almost able, but not quite able, to get here next turn. So what we actually want to do is take our second law slot, and we're going to do Starbill Boogie. And now we'll be able to move further. Okay. And I'll explain next turn why I did that. This turn instead of next turn. Because we want to keep, remember, generating all the dust that we can for Super Tax Act to get ourselves up to 150. So here we are next turn. So now you guys know that I'm going to be getting to this system. And so here's what I'm going to do. I want to maximize my number of movement points. So I go in here, kill the Super Tax Act, pass Admit and Improve, exit out. We've got Starbill Boogie still going. Go here. Now we've discovered this place, which has 3 more curiosities and 2 more arids with lots more dust trees. So yes, we are going to get a lot of mileage out of that, out of arids. And then I can immediately move back. This guy has 1 probe ready. Okay. And now that all my ships have moved, I kill Starbill Boogie and bring back Super Tax. It's a bit of micromanaging to get that hero experience, but trust me, everything that we can do, like our whole game plan, is hinging on getting that hero to level 7 when he gets the 40% energy, at which point we can become a powerhouse, an absolute powerhouse. So, yeah, we could have moved this guy more, of course, but I actually just want him to wait here and work with the hero to get a couple more curiosities, and we will go from there. Okay, and I think we're ready for the next turn, although we can talk about what we want to do next with our science as well. Normally, I would be doing off-world agribusiness next, because starting to interface with minor civs is excellent, but we actually haven't found any. So this brings me to the point we need to do 2 things. And we haven't really looked at the galaxy yet, but we've got this pinwheel galaxy, right? So this constellation is likely to continue this way, and then this one is going to be like moving towards the center of the galaxy, where stuff's going to get a bit more concentrated, and we would expect to see some minor civs here, as well as our AIs. But we really need to do a better job finding some minor civs, because we want to be able to fight them a couple of times before turn 20. By fight them, I mean fight the pirates that they're going to spawn. So, yeah, so we're going to need to do that a little bit. But we'll get there. Okay. Yeah, that means that we don't need off-world agribusiness so much right now. I think we also don't really need the arid colonization as super high priority yet, because we have the tundra here that we can go to. If we want to make a second colony over here, we have the boreal that we'll be colonizing before we would colonize the arids. So even though we will get the arid colonization for sure, it's not highest on our priority list, and so that means that we can afford to get the either plasma metallurgy, or start moving over here and thinking about already getting something from the military tree. This is kind of what I mentioned earlier, right? Like, we can get science faster than we can make use of it. And so when we're not making use of the science that we have, we should be using it to get cool things. And one of the coolest things that we can get early on is definitely the upgraded lasers here, which we can get in 5 turns. Right? No one else has gotten this this tech yet. The other thing we can get is autonomous construction, which gives us the titanium slugs. But the lasers are actually, I think, better early on because it makes our ships very strong. So, and we can do a couple turns on this, and if we think we're going to be able to use something else, or we want to get Hyperium, or we find a minor civ, we can just switch off of it. But yeah, this is what I mean by producing a little bit more science than we can realistically use. So, let's go to the next turn. And sorry to spend so much time on this, I just think that the Sophons, the strategy we've come up with is actually so different than the way that I approached Sophons in the first time that I played them, that I felt like it was relevant to talk about all this stuff. Okay, so we merge our detector ship with our hero. We've got just one probe here. Too bad, too bad. And as you guys remember from last turn, we have admit and improve still on. So we're going to go ahead and check out, do we do the life form or the curiosity? We're actually going to do the life form because I would rather look at the anomaly, or sorry, the life form or the, it doesn't matter I guess, or the subterranean. Subterranean is going to be a luxury resource or strategic most likely. Getting the anomalies early on is always better because it can be either weapon systems or population. Population's the strongest thing that you can get in the early part of the game. And so then this guy will be ready next turn. And so, yep, you can see here that it's going to take 2 turns, 3 turns, but 2 more turns before he could get there normally. But we don't need to have admit and improve active anymore. So, naturally what we're going to do is we're going to go to our laws, kill admit and improve, and switch it up with Starbill. Allows both our ships to move a little bit faster. And with that, we're ready to end the turn. Of course, Mega Indies are our next best thing. As soon as we finish our detector here, we want to be starting on the Mega Indie Consultancy. Okay. And it's going to be 2 more turns before we can rush our unstable isotope machining unless we get lucky next turn. Because our costs are going to go up. Yeah. Here. So now we get to pick our first quest, turn 5, and so we can either do win 3 battles with Sophon fleets, which give us an awesome empire-wide upgrade, minus 15% ship industry and production costs, which is quite strong. Free move, which is basically an engine that gives some vision points and a little bit of health, which I haven't found too exciting. Socialize, raising relationship to 90 or higher, which is so hard because we're so starved for influence. And so of these 3, I would say the benefit of the use and lose ships is the highest, and it's probably the second easiest to achieve. Orbiting a separate constellation is probably the easiest. But this is like the start of my route of military Sophons. Okay. So remember we have 3 curiosities here, 1, 2, 3, that we're going to be looking into. And I really want to explore some other stuff down here to try to find some minor civs. So I'm actually going to shoot 1 probe down in this direction to see if I can explore both of these guys in 1 shot. And then I'm going to send this guy here. We're going to move our units here. And we want to make sure to get all of the movement out of the way before we deactivate Starbill Boogie. Right, so I'm just going to pick one of these at random, go send our detector there. Wow. And there's finally a minor civ. And we have even more good planets here. Monsoon Atoll Okay, so this is looking strong, right? Like we have a number of colonizable systems around. So then we go up here. We're going to kill our Star Build Boogie. We're going to bring back Admit and Improve. And we're going to take our new detector ship, which has 3 probes, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Eden Incense, more dust trees, and more dust trees. Well, we're going to have a lot of dust trees, aren't we? Okay. And now we can do a couple of things with this ship, right? Either we can make our hero go and follow up, and we've got 1 more curiosity here to go after, and a few here. It looks like 4 there. So this is probably the way to go, because there's a bunch here as well. 3 more here. So I think this is probably the way to go, as opposed to trying to discover the new systems down this way. And we've got 8 turns, right? Because in 8 turns, or 7 turns really, because in 7 turns I want to assign our hero back to our Mega Indie Consultancy so that he can be there when this finishes and get the level ups. Remember, this detector also has a base move speed of 6, so the fact that our hero is here giving him experience, and unfortunately we're 1 XP short right now of giving him 1 extra move, but that's okay. We'll probably get it next turn from the passive XP. So he's actually speeding up this ship, so he's helping. Whereas he wouldn't be helping this ship because it has an engine, so it has a base move speed of 8. He would actually be slowing that fleet down. Okay, so we can't kill, Admit, and Improve because we just turned it on this turn. We've got our isotope machining. Excellent. Let's move forward.
The Empire welcomes all who...
Okay. So, his patrol ship is coming out to explore us. We've got the Nahast, and it looks like there's the Empire right behind them. So now, we actually can't praise these guys, right? We can't start doing stuff with them until we have our off-world agribusiness. So, like we said before, we're making a little bit of industry for ourselves, or influence for ourselves, not too much, and it's no problem for us to drop off unstable isotope machining if there's something that we need. So we'll just alt-click over an off-world agribusiness so that we can get that going next. Alright, meanwhile, we're going to make our way up here. There's no hurry on probes because we don't have any probes anyway. So we don't need to rush to get extra move speed here. And we can check out the curiosities of the Nahast, and they'll start liking us more. There's a lot of them as well. We can check out maybe some... Do we have any ruins? Yeah, we'll check out one of the atmospherics. Battle tactic, not exactly optimal. Oh, also, we're level 3. As I mentioned, we're going to go here and get even more move speed for our fleets and vision. So these guys have 8 moves now. You can go ahead and go just a wee bit faster. And that's, yeah, there's only one way out of this guy's area, and that's going to be to take him this direction. Now we don't need Admit and Improve, and the question is, do we want Star Build Boogie? I think the answer is yes. I'm pretty happy to use Star Build quite regularly, although we can't use it with him because he used his curiosity already, or his probe already. Okay, so moving forward. Alright, next turn, we've got another expedition ready to go. We'll just keep looking at stuff here. This is a great system, by the way. Arid, steppes, Terran, Savannah. Wow. So we definitely want to be their friends. And yeah, getting a couple of curiosities here isn't a bad way to start being a bit friendly. So, there's the home world of the Empire. And then that opens up even more. What does their home world look like? Oh, wow. Look at that. They got lucky. Started with a Terran and a jungle in addition to their Terran in their home world. Not too shabby. Already have an extra person compared to us. But it doesn't look like they made their way to get an easy second colony, right? Because like we can actually see whether they would be colonizing either of these places already. And it doesn't seem to be the case. So we move here. And remember, we're going to disenable Starbill this turn, but not until we get maximum move speed out of our fleets. So the way that we're going to do this is actually killing Tax Act first. Admit and Improve comes in. We scout out our remaining curiosity. Titanium. Brilliant. So more titanium and dust trees. And then we start moving in this direction. Get full use of our boogie. Kill the boogie. Bring back the act. And end the turn. It seems stupid, it seems minor, but I think it really does help, actually. Okay, so next turn, we kill the act, make the boogie, and oh, check it out. They're colonizing this place already. So they just started colonizing this thing?
You lead well, comrade. You're a sly one, aren't you?
So what I'm thinking here is that we might actually be able to prevent this colony from forming. Like, this patrol ship isn't going to be enough to stop us. And that could be quite nice. Oh, hey, look. We successfully explored these areas down here. We have another tundra, this time with Hyperium. We are going to make this work. Oh, also, I wasted one turn of speeding this up. And even though we don't get maximum efficiency here, probably could have saved one turn if I did this last time. Maybe even two. Sorry if I wasn't keeping track, guys. Definitely worth it still. Okay, so that was Starbill. And now, like, we can just wait here until we... let's see. Are we even... This is what I'm thinking, right? Like, we have the boogie enabled right now. So, if we want to, we can actually just go... And I probably should have done this before, but I think that we can go here and back. Yeah, so we're not doing too much to actually slow them down. Yeah, we can go there and back to explore this area next turn. And link up with our other ship and see if we can get something going here. At least putting a kink in their plans, right? So let's try to do that. Okay, next turn, we've got off-world agribusiness in 1. We go in, out, merge them together. Now we've got 3 curiosities that we can throw down. 19 turns, so not perfect still, actually. We don't need star bill. We want our admit and improve. We're not gonna do the one that's on his atoll. We'll just look at the two other ones, see if we can get something lucky. Strong magnetic fields and a pretty useless ship. But we got our 10 curiosities as the quest. Unfortunately, it just gave us Eden incense instead of science. Science would have been substantially better. So this slows him down a little bit. Not as much as I want, though, really. Right? Like, we definitely would like to slow him down more. Definitely would like to do that more. Okay. So this guy's on his way here, right? Or did he go and back? I can't tell which direction the Empire ships move. But this might be an opportunity for us to win one of our first battles, which is an opportunity I am happy to take. Alright, 4 turns until we want the hero to go back home as well. Agribusiness finished. Isotope machining started. He's not very pleased with us, unsurprisingly. And yeah. So, okay, he explored that curiosity. Fine. Now let's talk about kicking this guy's butt. So, we've just got, right now, slugs, nothing, and some slugs. So we'll just take the plating absorption, fight this guy. He's going to retreat probably. But notice that does count as 1 victory for the good guys. And so we're going to come up here and see if we can score a second. Barricade this place. And we've got admit and improve already going. So we'll definitely take a peek. We've got a life form and a life form. So no difference. What's going on here? All these positive things. Yeah, honeycomb scope, not a big bonus. Oh, Tree of Worlds is there. Hadapelagic life and cyberflora. Okay, so this is like the best desert ever. And it's huge. That's kind of sweet, actually. We'll have to remember this system. And when you explore curiosity, you stop blockading, so we're gonna have to restart that blockade. And now, alright, 2 more turns that we're gonna be moving around. This is the end of the colony over here. We've got an atoll with seismic activity and another Mediterranean. Kessler syndrome, ugh. And Ice 10. Jeez. So could be good. Kind of got ruined. So we have a lot of places that we can expand to, right? This is looking really sweet for us. So we're gonna grow slowly in this spot here, and that's totally fine. Because we want to just expand to these level 0 planets that we can colonize as quickly as possible. There's even an argument to be made for rushing an incubator ship. So like here, the incubator takes 4 turns. Of rushing an incubator ship and trying to get it here so that we can actually beat the Empire. But I think that with the amount of dust we have, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. So this is now at 3 turns. There's something that I do want more than the isotope machining right now, though. As we're moving up towards it, like, we're getting titanium and a little bit of dust trees here. And so I actually want... to get markets as soon as possible, right? Because I've got the 65 Eden incense, and we've got actually Eden incense on one of our places, this arid here. right? Yeah, so we want to get to markets pretty quickly because dust will be the thing that allows us to fight early. So one guy already has markets, unfortunately, but we're going to start moving in that direction. We're going to start making markets. Okay, and let's see if we can get a little bit more experience on our pal Asa. So for this law, we don't want to pay for it whenever we don't have to, so we'll kill it for this turn, and we'll probably bring it right back next turn. Oh, bummer. We have their ship is so slow, it didn't even make it here. Okay. Well, so I've got one more turn, right? Next turn, I'm going to have to reassign him. So I think that what we do is pretty clear. Maximizing the influence isn't quite as important. We're going to do admit and improve. Get the curiosity to maximize his experience, right? Because we want him to return with level 4, if possible. Also, there's nothing there. He still got the XP though, but still, sad face. So we'll blockade this. Now, we've got our commodities exchange in 6. Good, good, good. Let's win another battle. Yeah, the goal here, by the way, is we want to win our 3 battles for Enfer before turn 20, if we can. So winning 3 battles before turn 20 means that we can have the next technology, or the next quest active, which is to raise militarism on 3 systems. Oh, actually, it doesn't look like we'll be able to get 3 systems. We didn't colonize this one fast enough by turn 20. But anyway, we want to be promoting militarism already by our first election, so that our normally scientific Sophons become militaristic as quickly as possible. All right, so commodities exchange still going. We'll move to the next turn. We've got our friend here. So we've got admit and improve going. We just check that. We're not going to get much experience from killing this ship, but we do it anyway. So we go from 49 to destroying that guy. 53, just 4 experience. 2 battles, 1. Now we can make it with our 2 probes all the way over here. And we've got an atmospheric and a ruins and an atmospheric. So these are good ones to be exploring. So let's check out these 2. Oh, extra shielding. Shattered crust and a little bit of influence. And just as we wrote it up, an extra level, and he's going to be going to the system, so we're actually going to give him the +10 science, as we discussed before. And notice how this is all like working pretty nicely, right? We had exactly 8 move speed, so we get our detector over here, 2 curiosities with admit and improve, right as we're about to assign him, just hitting level 4, to the governorship here. Perfect, perfect. Now these remaining ships, they have an interesting decision now, because our detector here, he can go and continue to slow down the Emperor, or the Empire. Our science goes up a little bit, thankfully, because we have our pal on the on the system now, giving an extra 14. And yeah, the next thing that we're going to want to do, and we can do it now so that we don't spill industry into something we're not going to use, is we're going to be building colony ships next. And the colony ships that we're going to want to build are these super fast 2-engine, 1-flag ships. So we're at 34 right now. It's going to jump to 64. So as I go back to my ships here, so 64, actually with 64, because we don't have a second colony, I think that we want to do this one, because this means that this will probably be the difference between getting it a turn early or a turn late. So if we do here, yeah, it says it's 4 turns right now, but it'll actually, I think, drop to 2 turns. So this will be done 3 turns from now instead of 4 turns from now if we had the extra engine there. Because, just to walk you guys through my thought process there, walk you through the math, we're not going to be gaining any new person. The Mega Indy is going to give us a plus 30, so we'll go from 34 to 64. And with 64, having it at 130 will allow us to get 128 industry in the next 2 turns, plus the little bit of spillover that we're going to get from the Indy consultancy here. So that's why I killed that one engine. And the difference between 8 move speed and 11 move speed isn't that important if we're just going to go over here or up here. And we'll figure out which of those we want to take shortly and have that discussion. Okay, so laws, we're keeping admit and improve on because we want to maximize the benefit from doing our Mega Indy. Hurrah! So, Gaikon colony successful. Our hero got tons of experience from finishing that Mega Indy. Our incubator is going to be finished in 2 turns. Life looks good, right? This looks pretty good. We're still not growing very fast on our little boreal, but that's okay. We'll deal with that later. All right, so now we've got this hot Mediterranean nonsense here. Our tundra. So what we really care about here is to stop losing money, because we're losing money even with Super Tax Act right now, but also to make more ships. So what I'm going to do here is actually go Cerebral Reality first, followed by an incubator, and follow that up with some colonization and Mega Indies. But really, it's unfortunate because these colonies are just a little bit tough early on. We're just going to need a bit more cash to get going. But we'll do what we can. Alright, so Detector 2, you check this out. High gravity and a bit of science. I think getting the random tech is almost always worth it for 100 science. And then this detector can go this way. We don't need to pay for admit and improve. And these guys, 4 more turns and the curiosity revealing will be over with. There might be some pirates around there now, actually, so we should be wary of that. We might want to actually send a probe there before we go ourselves, which we'll do next turn. Okay. So with that, I think we move forward. Yeah, we're going to have to deal with this dust situation soon, aren't we? Yeah, this isn't as bad as it could be. The fact that I had 0 curiosities on my home place is really something. But yeah, getting cerebral reality next will be important. And we're doing everything we can, right? Yeah, super tax is there. The only other things that we could be doing to go faster would be to actually invest in this praising, because we really want to get a good relationship with these guys, because the dust and science that you get from diplomatic relations is so strong. So strong. The reason that I'm not doing it, I haven't done it already, and looking back, maybe I should have, is that I wanted to wait for these curiosity reveals to go down so that we have so that we can maximize our influence potential there. And I think if I wait 2 more turns, we can do it. But we're going to be getting 2 more. And so, like, just looking at this with me, we knew that we had 2 curiosities revealed. That's going to give us 18. 1 praise will give us another 18. So that gets us to 36, right? That's kind of where we want to be, just at the point where they're giving us something, especially since we're at a dust disadvantage right now, because we need to get to 25 for them to start giving us the first thing, and 50 for them to give us the next thing. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do this. Should have done it earlier. We would have been in a better situation. So, here we go. So let's try to launch this in such a way that we get some information about the pirates. Oh, hey. Oh, hey, hey. See this little guy right here? 93. Oh, yeah. That'll solve some of our dust problems, potentially. That could be nice. Because we're, oh, actually, we're not in trouble. We're finishing our commodities exchange just in time, of course. As we planned, guys. As we planned. Alright. Last thing. Like, this is 130 industry. Not a huge opportunity. Oh, hold on just 1 second, guys. I'm going to stop recording for 1 moment. Okay, and I'm back. Sorry about that. Alright, back to the game. So, yeah, because we're going to have galactic commodities, next turn we're not going to go bankrupt, and we'll get a little bit of extra cash out of this fleet, and prevent it from boosting up this colony at the same time. So, oh, what I was just saying here, though, is that even though 130 industry isn't a ton, the fact that we can spend 4 influence to boost our hero again, it's still a pretty good deal for us. Let's see how much he gets, right? So right now, he's at 38 out of 80 on his way to level 5. We're going to end the turn here. Finished our commodities exchange. We've got our isotope machining going. And let's check on our hero. 48. Yeah, up to 53. Probably not worth it, actually, to spend time on that law. One of the interesting things about Sophons is that public-private partnerships actually aren't that good for them. Normally they're excellent, but they're only giving 20 bonus science here, especially in a world where we don't have a second planet. So they don't get the nice boost that the mega industry has for Sophons. So we're 3 turns from unstable isotope machining. 8 turns from this huge atoll. So we can either take a safe route and go colonize one of these perfectly good planets over here. We can take the medium aggressive route and go after this tiny boreal here that has more titanium and dust trees. Or we can try to do something very aggressive and actually try to compete with the Empire for this spot. Now this is really risky because they have such a huge advantage on us, and we would have to be competing with our monsoon against their atoll. So it would require a couple of things, and we're going to have to math it out. I'm not sure what the right answer is here. But I know what I don't want to do. So I want to either go for Ugaro right now, or I want to go for Polaris. And the reason for that has nothing to do with the fact that our atoll over here has a slight negative anomaly. It's annoying, but not the end of the world. The main reason is that I want to start having a place where I can upgrade my ships that's going to be close to the minor civ here and to the Empire, who we're going to be fighting in the later game. So like actually having Polaris would be so hugely beneficial for me. So now that we have access to the marketplace, let's talk about what we can actually do. Because what we're going to want to do is upgrade our detectors here from being probe bots to being missile-wielding blockade monsters. And you know what? We actually can even make them a little bit more durable. They don't have any defensive slots, but instead of probes, which don't really give them anything there, you might even want to do a nano repair bot. So that makes them 200 versus 150. Yeah, it's a close choice. Let's leave them at this because it'll be more cost effective. So with this, we would need 370 dust to upgrade these two. 370 dust is really not out of range for us. And we're going to need 250 dust to 250 dust to rush this, and 75 or maybe 100 manpower. None of these things are actually that bad. Our incubator, I actually now wish we spent the extra turn if we're going to go all the way over here to make it move as fast as possible, but we can still get it there reasonably quickly, especially if we boogie our way over there. And we might be able to do even quicker, again, if we sacrifice some dust. So let's talk about some interesting things that we can do here. So we've got 38 titanium. Titanium selling for 9 apiece. Dust selling for 8 apiece. Eden incense, 7 apiece. So if I sell, shift click, I sell all of my Eden incense, we get 476, or 486. Really good, actually. Because I'm producing so little Eden incense right now, even though it would be the better of the two upgrades for system level 2, the sheer quantity of dust trees that I'm getting means that I'm definitely going to take the dust trees. So I'm going to sell the Transvine and the Eden incense here with no second thoughts. Then I'm going to take this Incubator 3, say, hey, I want max speed. It's going to cost 174 to upgrade it. Fine. 174, upgrade it, level 11, 11 move speed, and we're just going to have it take off, and we're going to see if we can race the Empire here. Might not be the best decision, but I think it's an interesting enough one to worth showcasing for you guys, how you can really be pretty aggressive in the early game. So, hitting the marketplace when we did is obviously super important to to do this correctly. And now we still have 348. We're losing 18 a turn, but we're going to correct that here with building the cerebral reality, which will also boost our science a little bit. And because we want our ship to get there as quickly as possible, we're going to boogie our way over here as well. And that means that in just 3 turns instead of 5 turns, we'll be able to make it here. And now the benefit for this, if you guys are looking at me saying like, James, you're crazy, you know, that means that this thing will only have 3 turns left. It's not actually that crazy, because I think, and I'm counting on this, I think that if we get here, and I'm blocking all of the ships coming in, and then right now these guys have, you know, this whole fleet has a total of 16 power, right? And it can slow down the growth of Polaris just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. If I upgrade both of these ships, which I can do as soon as I settle a colony here, because I have to be orbiting a colony that I control, if I boost both of these ships to get 40 power each, I think I might actually be able to reverse the growth of that colony. So that is kind of what I'm counting on here. Yep, building a second ship, unfortunately, and trying to send it over there will just take too long. So even though I would love to do that, it's not really an option. So this gets us to our next issue, which is, what do we want to be doing with science? So we finished our markets. If we wanted to, we could grab one of these guys, which could give us access to our system developments, which we have enough luxury resources for, right? We have plenty of dust, but our population is so bad that I think it's not a priority for us right now. The isotope machining is good, because it can give us strong lasers to fight with. But having the missiles is okay for right now. Not perfect, but okay. And so part of me is thinking that we might actually be best off getting the upgraded ships. Yeah, we're going to be plenty busy here. So again, even though I think that... let's see. So public-private partnerships is not really what we want to be building for ourselves right now. No, we want to be building incubators after this. So we have 5 turns for sure here. Oh, these guys, they're going to be more than busy. Yeah, so if we do this, they can go straight into the indie consultancy. These guys will be responsible for building the incubator. We can get them to build an extra detector attacking ship as well, and just grow a little bit, just a little bit. So yeah, like, I just don't need the science right now. Right, I want to be building a few ships. I want to be doing this kind of stuff. So let's look back at our tact here. So 5 turns from now, we'll have cerebral incubator, our cerebral reality, and our incubator done. This is actually really important to think about. This guy, he's busy doing other stuff. So 5 turns. Let's think about what's going to happen in 5 turns from a technology level. Efficient shielding, if we put that to the front of our queue, is 8 turns for us to research. So 8 turns means that we are going to have quite a tough time getting there. Isotope machining, however, will be done in 3 turns, so we could actually be making our ships with the upgraded lasers already, 3 turns in. Right, how is that possible? Why is this 8 turns it will finish here? Oh, because it thinks that I'll keep getting the 65 science, when in fact I'll be getting less because I don't have the omniscience bonus here. Okay, that's why I was thinking it might have only taken 5 turns, but it took 8 instead. Okay, so let's finish our unstable isotopes first. Okay. Other things of interest, we're going to be moving up at least close to 21 or 25 there, which will give us extra science and dust. This will give us extra science and dust. Ooh. Those will give us extra science and dust, guys. And I'm not going to upgrade straight to the lasers with these things. Alright, we're doing it. I'm going to take the slight hit and see if we can finish efficient shielding in 5 or 6 turns. Probably will be 6. With these things taking a little while to get going, but I think it's going to be worth it. Exciting. Alright, so Starbill enabled, and other thing that I want to be sure to pay attention to is how many turns does he have? Okay, 5 turns, and he can peace out as well. So he can build these 2 things, and then he's ready to go back, taking to the air. So, also, it's worth noting, 5 atmospheric curiosities. Unfortunately, we already explored a bunch of them. It's worth noting that leaving the 1 gun on this detector ship so that it can actually do blockades has turned out to be super important for us. 93 dust. Yum, yum, yum. 7 turns for this outpost. We see... Ooh, they have a Corvette that looks like it's super damaged coming in towards us. And they have 1 shuttle there. So we might be able to achieve our goal of, of doing 3 battles, right? We've already got 2. Let's get our use and lose ships. That'll actually make all of our ship construction easier. So, and for maximizing influence, we kill Starbill Boogie. Right now, our ship here already used it, and yep, so 15% militarists already, not bad. Okay, guys, this is such a fun game. This is the most fun Sophon start I think I've had in all of my testing so far. I had so many frustrating games where I was trying to be a scientist, trying to just, go passive, and I would feel so weak compared to, for example, the Lumeris, who I think are quite similar. Like, turn 10, the Lumeris hero comes back on his home system, level 3. You've done tons of probes. You've explored all of the curiosities because the Lumeris have such good probing at the beginning. You maybe have some extra colonies going. You have your minor civs that can be impressed by dust, and your hero jumps back on your home planet with giving plus 40 science. Like, it's just excellent. And the Sophons feel like they have none of that, but this early aggressiveness that builds into late game monstrosities as the Sophons, this is really interesting. Alright, so minor civ is giving us a portion of their resources. We can see how much. Look at this, 18 science. It's huge for us. Almost 50% bonus, right? Because we were at 40-something before. And so we just finished one of our cerebral realities, which helps as well. But, like, super good. And look at that, 4 turns. I think we do get there. Oh, we need 1 more. 1 more. All right. So, anyway, so here we go. We're going to be... This is the key turn for us. Let's see if we can make the math work. So, with just the incubator ship here, it goes to 19 turns. I wonder if that means it's reliant more on the number of ships than the power? That would be weird. I don't think that's the way it works. So, let's colonize this monsoon. Okay. So, we spent our cash. We get the colony in 8 turns. They get it in 19. They'll probably start stealing some food from us as well. Alright, so obviously we're going to use our probes before we upgrade our ships. We'll throw another one across the bow of the Empire there. Yeah, look at that. Ah, so nice. Okay, and we're going to take our detector. How much cash do we have? Do we have the cash? So we need 377 to upgrade these two with our current plan. If we did something slightly differently, what if we just replace this for an engine? I think this might be more useful as a baseline, actually. I think it'll be about the same increase cost. Yeah, because the same amount of industry. Because it doesn't look like we're actually going to be so threatened by these guys. So let's then take to our strategics. Yeah, because we're not getting... Like, we don't want to have to sell all of our dust. So let's just sell... Yeah, sell 30 titanium. That's no big deal. Now we have the cash to do this. So let's see how this goes. It's 19 right now. If we upgrade our ships, still 19. So it's actually dependent just on the number of ships. That's crazy. That's crazy. So that means that clearly what we need to do is have a super fast incubator ship just go over there. Actually, no, let's not even do that. Let's do one better. Let's create a little thing called a hull. That'll be an exploration ship with just an engine for 80 dust. Or for 80 industry. And send that puppy over there. So, and we have 2 turns left, 3 turns left on this guy. Okay. Let's see if we can make this work. Just number of ships. Crazy. I haven't gotten this deep into the math yet with something like this. Although that's something I probably should have known. Okay, so here we are, moving to the next turn. Yeah, we'll go ahead and pass, admit, and improve. Just to maximize, since we're finishing something on this guy's home place, go from 55 to something that's better than 55. Get a bit more dust. Shoot out probes in all directions. Okay. Now we're making our hull in one turn. So he went from 55 to 72. Yes, I think if we leave this on, we might actually get him up to level 5. Which would be nice. Very nice, actually. Yeah, sorry I keep like leaning to the side here. It's because there's a glare on my screen. So I'm like, oh, what does our science actually look like? Okay. So then here, it cost us 40 to do this again. I think we can just wait. There's nothing really big that we're waiting for. We don't have much influence anyway. And we can get our use and lose ships next turn. I was hoping this guy would be here this turn, but it's alright. Turn 20, we're almost there. We're almost getting to where we want to be. Yep, we're at low manpower. That's not so surprising. Oh, one thing we didn't check, actually, is where this... Okay, it's pulling from the correct system. We want it to pull from Gaikon, our new one, not from Giovannis, because we really want Giovannis to grow at least a little bit. Have at least one more person, which it will next turn. Okay, and now let's fight these guys. Oh, I forgot to do what I needed to here, which is to change my battle cards. So normally I would want to select hull plating here, but remember we changed to missiles, so short range we do nothing. And if this guy also chooses short range, he's also missiles by the way, if he also chooses short range, then what happens is that the two ships just stare at each other. And they don't fire, because they can't fire. So we definitely want to pick long range here to make sure that we actually fire our missiles at him. So he picked barrage fire, which is, yeah, that's the optimal one. But alright, so we finished our 3 battles, we got our use and lose ships, and now we have to raise militarist to 30% in 3 systems. Also, hero made it to level 5, he's going to get the bonus to damage on fleets. He can't move this turn though, remember? We found another constellation over here, which is excellent. Sophons are so good at exploring constellations with probes, by the way, because they can see exactly where the next things are. So I know exactly where to go shoot my next probes. Alright, now do we have any atmospheric curiosities to explore? Just out of curiosity. So we explored 2 already. We just kind of blew our load early on those. How about down here? There's an atmospheric. And then there's 5 things here. Signal, atmospheric, atmosphere. Oh man. Okay, so if I can. Yeah, getting a detector here that just has a couple of probes and sending it down first. We'll see. How are we doing here? Because presumably, oh, look, even with him using manpower, I'm not sure he is using manpower, but we're definitely kicking his pants now. That's great. That's really great. Alright. So detector 5 is the one that's got the engine. Detector 4, I think, is the one... Yeah, it's only got 6 move speed, so I think 4 is the one that has 4 probes. So that's good. We want one more of those guys, so he can go down here and get our atmospheric curiosities. I actually want him first, because I really would love that influence and the extra stuff to sell and so on, more so than I need to be draining from our colonies for a second outpost right away. Alright, so let's move forward. We've really, looking at the score, look how much we've crippled the Empire here, even though he has that fantastic starting spot by blockading and being a pain in his ass. Even though our score is not great, because we're Sophons, we've kept his score even lower by killing ships and doing all of this. So, we charge forward. Right, and efficient shielding comes next turn. Hoorah! And then we'll be moving to other stuff later. Alright, our unstable isotope machining should be pretty quick. Oh, the Academy was discovered. Well, that's no fun. That's no fun at all. I guess I still build the detector, but... Like, look, oh, this is so great. I do love this about Sophons, how good they are at exploring. Like, we had this guy here, and then now we see that there's a minor civ here. We had so many probes that it didn't matter too much. Looks like this one might be on track. Maybe not, actually. Yeah, I don't think either of those are on track, so we're going to launch a new probe to make sure we discover that guy. on the probe to make sure we discover what's up there. And then, I guess 5 more turns. This is the fastest outposting that you can do. One of the reasons to compete with guys, by the way, is that because of this one, absorbing 10% and then doubling your total food absorbing 10 and then doubling means like for something like this that only has 6, going from 12 to 32 or even 42. I don't know how we're at 42. Because we should go from 6 to 16 and then doubling it to 32. So I'm not quite sure about the math there, but whatever. Alright, so this hull is shooting along to make sure that we win this game, or this one. And he can also then be upgraded to... Wow, that's quite a noise outside there. Sorry, guys. He can also be updated to whatever ship we want at the destination. I think we have had admit and improve on for a little too long as well. Although we've been completing some stuff, so it's not the end of the world. But I think that we turn it off. Yeah, because we know that that's not going to give too much of a bonus. By the way, do notice that this cost is actually a little bit lower now because of our use and lose ships. Okay. And our dust has been in a really nice spot, partially because the Empire has been sending over these transport ships, so we've gotten 200 extra dust from those guys, and we've stabilized our dust production thanks to the minor civ relationships. So, all good, right? Let's keep moving forward. We're at turn 20. We definitely push the militarist tree. We want them to be as powerful as possible. Yeah, so not perfect, but they're on the Empire at least. Here we are. Scientists still in first. And we lose access to the religious tree now, so no more admit and improve for us. Academy Discovery, by the way, is actually totally fine from our perspective. Simply because we want to get another hero. The Sophon-seeker hero, the counselor aspect of our current guy is pretty meh. The seeker hero, when we can combine all of the move speed that we get with the ability to like triple off-piste movement speed, so outside of star lane movement speed, is just absolutely bonkers. So after isotope machining, we have to figure out what we want next. And we are about to get, in 4 turns, 2 planets here, one of which will have Hyperium. And so I think that what's going to come next for us is definitely backtracking to get Hyperium there a little bit. We also have our accelerator that we can make now. So the accelerator is kind of an interesting ship. I want to pull this back a little bit. So we've got 1 utility slot that can also be defense. Their base move speed is 4. And then for an attacker ship, 3 defense slots, 2 offense slots is kind of an unusual imbalance. So we'll get to this later. I don't usually like to start with it, but remember there are two types of energy weapons. You have your lasers, which this one has 7 damage and a 5% crit chance. But it's useful long and medium range with slightly less effectiveness short. And then you have your beams, which are only usable short range, but do tons of damage. This is the base model, right? It does 3 times as much damage as the laser, with double the critical hit chance. And so, with that in mind, these beams, combined with the extra defensive abilities of this ship, means that it can survive long enough to get close to unleash its deadly beams. even if the other guys wanna stand all the way away. And so after we upgrade this ship and unlock the third weapon slot over here, I actually do a balance of 2 lasers and 1 beams, and close the distance in with people pretty quickly. So let's, for now, we actually are going to redesign this in 1 turn anyway. We have that nice shield. We're going to do movement speed and a couple of hull plates. How nice is this shield? Oh, 30 health bonus as well. We've got a very nice shield. So we'll do that for now. But yeah, we're not going to be building any of those just yet because we're finishing our unstable isotope machining first. Okay. Hull on its way. As far as other laws, so we have the ability to get lower fleet costs now, minus an additional minus 15% chance, which is pretty good. A little bit of extra research deposits. We can boost our manpower. Dirty Hands Act, minus 20% system improvement is actually enormously strong, but we definitely don't have the influence production to maintain it. So one of the reasons I love Admit and Improve and Starbill Boogie is you can do this exploit that I've been doing where you turn it on for 1 turn, move your ships, end the turn, move your ships, and turn it off, so you basically only pay half of the influence for the full effect, or close to the full effect. With some of these other things like the cost reductions and so on, you just have to keep them in play in order for it to be doing anything for you. So, it looks like we have a couple of ships that are on their way to places where I would like to get them there faster. So I am going to go ahead. Actually, I'm going to wait 1 turn. I'm going to do it next turn and let this incubator ship benefit from my 2nd turn of Starbill. Okay. So, turn 21, finished. Now, notice, even though like we're having fun and we're making moves, our research is like leagues better than you would be as Cravers or Lumeris or Empire doing an early rush. But like our industrial potential is so bad that we really can't realistically, declare war and have conquests by turn 26 like the Cravers can or the Empire can. Just because like we didn't have the start for it, we don't build our mega indie consultancy fast enough, all of this other stuff. It's just not really in the cards for Sophons. So they take a long time to get going, but once they get there, once they're going, they can definitely roll along pretty hard. And we're able to make interesting moves while still getting like our full research done. So like we don't feel like we're sacrificing too much and expanding at the same time. So even though we're weak right now, we're building up this snowball where we'll have a very strong colony base plus the research to hold our own and push forward simultaneously, right? So we're going to try to take the best of both worlds and build a snowball both in the economic and FIDS direction and in the military direction. Because we're Sophons and we can do that with our science. So now we're over here. We have a relatively important question to ask, which is that we're about to get a lot of curiosities over here. Yeah, a whole lot. So this could be not bad from the perspective of our dear hero, who is ready to be a ship captain again. And I think he's going to get a lot more out of that than the next 5-10 turns of hanging around in here. So I'm actually going to move him out. Speaking of which, we have our new lasers that instead of 7 damage, do 10 damage per second, and we're going to swap those in for sure. I think that, yeah, this shield that we explored from a curiosity is still substantially better. So that gives us 62 power on our little ships. I'm going to for sure apply that design. Let's take a brief look at the magnet. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it because it's pretty abysmal. So for a defensive ship, it really doesn't know that it's about to be targeted. Remember, yeah, the support ships here, they attract fire. And so the fact that it has either 0 or 1 defensive modules makes it very bad at attracting fire. It's got 1 attack slot here. We can throw a missile on it or something. But the main thing that this ship is good for, and we're not there yet, is the fleet accelerator bonuses. The fact that only this ship can hold these things, and it can hold 4, means that you can throw one of these in a fleet, have it zoom along at maximum speed. You can give, 3 extra moves to the whole fleet, and then pull it out of the fight before it goes into battle. We're not going to have a chance to do that in this game, almost definitely, but it is a thing that you can do, because we're just not going to make it to turn 30, or make it to that point by turn 30. So anyway, oh snap! If I wanted to do anything with my pal the hero, I would have needed to do it last turn. Although I have a sneaky way. A certain sneaky way of getting our pal the hero down here. Let's see if we can do this. Alright, let's see if we can get him next turn. We'll just not stress too much about getting those curiosities. No one else is going to get them for us. So speculators are buying titanium. No problem. Alright, and our hull, we're not going to do anything to upgrade that yet. 3 turns. Oh hey, check it out. We got our free, remember 10 turns ago, we spent 100 science and we got PevScale accelerators. It's a great one to get. That's the one that allows us to colonize arids. So I don't see where the Unfallen are. Maybe we just passed a probe in the distance, or one of our probes was being unlocked. Oh, hello. We found some pirates. Yikes. Yikes. They're pirates with both guns and missiles. This is bad news for us, actually. So, let's check it out. So remember, we're all missiles, and they're a mix. That means... ah, shit. Remember, I said I was gonna replace this guy? So we've got no defenses. I think we will lose this fight, because the fact that they have they probably have 1 kinetic and 1 missile. That kinetic will kill my missiles as they're coming in. And then even though they have only half the number of missiles, we don't have anything to stop their missiles. So I think that they will kick our butts. And instead of losing my ships here, I'm going to run away. I'm not proud of it, but I think it's the right call. Yeah, makes things a bit interesting. By interesting, I mean uncomfortable. We still win the race here. This lets us know that we made 2 mistakes, right? Having a battle tactic here, that would have been slightly better. So ditching this one and getting, well, this is the one that I actually will be using the most when I get lasers. But having the damage bonus at long range one is really good here. So that's what we're gonna do for now. Alright. Now we're going to create. We're going to equip our pal, the hero. He has 11 movement speed. Doesn't this incubator ship have 14 without him? Yeah. So we can let our hero just kind of like dupe along as quickly as he likes and have our incubator get here faster. So, interesting. Do we want to take the Atoll, which has no Hyperium, probably a luxury resource, and then Lava Mediterranean, and this is the Kessler Syndrome, and Ice 10 Mediterranean? Yeah, not my favorite, clearly. I think we go for the Atoll. I think it's close, but I'm pretty sure the Atoll is the right call there. And then we're going to do public privates. Alright, now we want this guy to leave so that we can come back. We'll heal little bits at a time, and when we come back we can try to do a better job. And actually, I think we talked about this before, but having one accelerator, just one decent ship, will help us against those pirates. Yeah, this was the one that came to an end. 10 science for 10 turns. Alright, now our plasma metallurgy is going to be finished. The next thing that I'm seeing that will be beneficial for us is over here, the landscaping, where we can make some cheap buildings that'll give us better food so that we can start growing our population. And then after that, autonomous construction will be useful, but in order to use that, we actually need to be able to make a bunch of ships. Extreme composites will be good because we want to be able to upgrade our hulls, but I think that the one that is appealing to me right now the most is something in this tier right here, where we will be able to get our system development. And the one that is, I think, speaking to me the most is probably xenotourism agencies, because we have so much, especially in our second system, we have so much dust trees that we can just develop this great snowball from those. So let's try going with that. Alright, and we really want this to go away. It would be such a tragedy right now if they showed up with one of their big outpost ships, their outpost delivery ships, and got the last 100. Okay, well maybe it wouldn't get all the way there, but it could be very close. Alright, let's do what we can. Hopefully he doesn't stick around. That would be very convenient. So metallurgy finished. Oh hey. You really staying around, pal? Just leave. Please leave. Alright, I think he just left. Yep. And so he's coming towards us. We say, no, thank you, sir. We are the Sophons, and we are speedy. We don't have to upgrade this turn. We'll heal another turn first, because if you upgrade, you have to heal as well, which means paying the costs for healing, which are often huge. Alright, so our hero's finally here. We're up at 4 curiosities. I'm just gonna get as many of them as we can. More Eden incense, titanium, ooh, a remnant population, and some loot. Oh, he sped all the way over there. Also, I accidentally left Starbill on, didn't I? Not the end of the world. And now here, we are definitely going to go plop ourselves onto this atoll. And we need 250 dust, which should be no problem. Actually, we get it almost next turn, but it's not a big deal for us to sell 5 dust trees. And just do it right now. Yep, and they're going to pull from Jovanus, right? Yep. Which is the best. So, this, oh wow, they're losing system growth by feeding the outpost. Because we have too many people, not enough food, I guess. This makes me prioritize the colony more, for sure. And so we'll just let this guy absorb a little bit of experience from this detector ship. And 5 more turns, this is like ramping up into a very nice, what we expect from a Sophons game. Okay, Polaris done. We meet Fatia. So this is more towards the center. Oh, and I guess it's still one of the arms. Oh, my relationship with this civilization improves every turn. Well, in that case, I should definitely meet them. My relationship isn't improving at all. I've been tricked. But I will spend a little bit of money, or a little bit of influence. So that's a total of 10 plus 40 plus 20 for the contact. So 70 influence gets us, it looks like it'll be 30. It's actually 36 points, which brings us to past here and can get us another little friend. Meanwhile, these guys are at 36. Spending 10 gets us, looks like 20. It'll actually be 18, but 18 will get us to the next stage of happiness with them. So then here, we've got 2 colonized planets. Hoorah, hoorah. And with a temperate, fertile, temperate, now this one looks like Mega Indie Consultancy will really kick ass. And so we'll do our Mega Indie, Public Privates, Cerebral Reality, and feel very good about all of that. And yeah, of course, atolls as well are super good for industry. They're the best level 0 temperate fertile for industry, which is why they're my single favorite planet type. So we're going to move you guys down here because we want to check out the curiosities on Hath. That's the next priority. We'll get our accelerator over there, and we should probably take a little bit of time to upgrade our little fleets. So dust now is actually more valuable. It was recently patched so that each system upgrade costs 40. So even though 82 looks like a lot, it's actually not a ton. I'd much rather sell 25 titanium now that we have 2 places that are going to have titanium. Oh, I'm sorry, Hath doesn't. We just have our 1 place with titanium. This one's Hyperium. So we're only getting, what, 3 a turn? Still better to sell some titanium right now. It'll be more important later for sure, but for right now, it's fine to just do it this way. We can explore that star lane. We can explore over there. And now I want to look at this hull and say like, hey, Mr. Hull, let's talk about getting some slugs here, and maybe a repair bot for you. And for our detectors, yeah, I'm happy with that still. So with those things, now it's 500 to upgrade all three. So we do it. Oh, sorry. 500 just to upgrade the hull. Oh, because these guys are up to date. Woohoo. Alright, so, well, we'll see. At least we'll have something. We'll be able to put up a fight against these shuttles here. We have not good health. We have not good health. This is tough. I think we keep dodging them and running. I don't see any reason to risk fighting them when we can just throw ourselves in here. Yeah, upgrading and healing at the same time costs so much cash. I should have paid attention to what I was doing, because I saw that all three were selected, so I was like, okay, great, this will heal and upgrade them all, but I didn't have any new model for the detector. Alright, so then here, larger host isn't bad, but I really want to be growing right now. I don't really need the manpower. I mean, I do, but I don't need to be growing up a store of manpower. Okay, attract a new population type. We'll do our best on that one. And yeah, see, he's just passing through. No reason to bother him. Meanwhile, the Empire is being stopped from coming and playing with us with their attack ships, since they're close to their homeworld and their homeworld is kick-ass. They definitely have industry that we can't compete with, but we're using this guy as a buffer zone, letting him deal with the pirates while we dodge them. Alright, and now we've got our accelerator, who can come up here and play with us. What have we got on our atoll? Eden incense. Great. 3. Very good. So, with Eden incense here, and wow, so we've got another average deposit of that stuff here. We might be able to get away with Eden incense as our first thing, but I think dust is still going to be better. We'll use Eden incense as our second. It'll be a solid second upgrade. Okay. And we'll get omniscience back for our next thing over there. Great. And it's worth mentioning, do we want to do tundra or do we want to do the arids? I'm of the opinion that we should be doing the tundra here, because with Sophons we actually get extra industry out of the tundra. And this one's pretty good already with the strange fossils, producing a bit more industry than normal, although nothing like the arids. But we're going to be putting the population on the Mediterraneans anyway, so if we're just doing a colony, then having the tundra is the way to go. It also gives us extra happiness. So hurrah. I think we're going to then have interplanetary transport for even more industry on our Mediterranean. And yeah, and this is looking not bad. Not bad at all. Leave our hero down there, getting some experience. And we'll make him he'll make his way back up north eventually. So yeah, these guys aren't doing anything, but we know that. Yeah, so we move on. Landscaping in one turn. Turn 26. This is about where we want to be with Sophons at 30. So this guide has shaped up pretty well. It took, like I said, quite a few tries to figure out how we really wanted to play Sophons, and then it ended up having to take a couple of games really late, where I would be playing against human opponents into the late game to really figure out what I wanted to do. What's this? Population lost. Oh no! Because I wasn't paying attention, I should have switched this stupid thing up to be pulling from, I don't know, anyone else. Gaikon. Stupid. Ugh, frustrating. That was a whole new population type. Wiped out in the blink of an eye. How cruel. Ooh, we found it to be irradiated. So normally I would take the 80% chance to discover something every time, but we want to boost our militarist ideology so much right now because it's the next thing on our quest, and our quest is really good, that I'm just going to take the 50 dust. Or the 75 dust. The scientist one gives you the opportunity for like 150 dust, or I think a little bit more actually. I think it's actually 10 dust per system, so it's very good. But I don't care that much about the dust right now. We're in no... Yeah, we're definitely not in a dust crisis, especially since we're going to be making pals with even more minor civs. Speaking of, 4 turns, 8 there. I think we're going to boost him again so that we get to 50 quicker. Oh, these are more arids here. Oh my goodness. Arid heaven over here. Yeah, so we're going to be able to colonize every one of these systems, and then we'll get our tree of worlds as soon as we get deserts here, which build off of arids. So like our little arm of the galaxy is quite synergistic in that it's letting us do an awful lot without researching a lot of techs in the science part of the tree. So like see here, colonized desert is right here. Pretty solid. We're not going to do it now, of course. But yeah. Alright, so these guys have no probes. So we're good, just waiting another turn. Getting Astrofinance. Which we will have right around turn 30. Ooh, so someone beat the... or got the wonder already. We got our 75 dust. We found a collapsing star. The Empire already has one of these. Oh, 50 influence, so that's going to make it expand even faster. Jesus, their home planet's so good. I want it. I want it, guys. Alright, meanwhile, our accelerator making his little way up. This guy gets a new probe every turn. We use a probe. A little bit more science production, whatever. So, yeah, he hasn't gained a lot of experience out here. He has 3 more turns before he can do anything else. But I would say still worth it. We haven't really been building anything in Jovanus. Jovanus, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Yeah. So I would switch this back to supplying our outpost, since it's at maximum people right now, but actually doing that would immediately kill a population, so I don't really want to do that. We can build an exoscience station here though, which is probably the best thing to do. The other one that I like is spin projects for the influence, but we'll get more of those in other parts of our empire. This spot is going to be a good one as well. And we have anomalies here, right? Just here, I guess. Okay, how about... So this one has seismic activity. The reason I'm checking for this, by the way, and here... Okay, this is the one that has the tundra with strange fossils, is that our pilgrims actually produce more science on anomalies. And so they're not doing anything in our completely vanilla home world. So I would love to be able to pick these guys up because they're not getting any special bonuses, and I can send them next door to this tundra that has strange fossils and aurora waves, and they can be much happier in Gaikon. So we'll just have to wait 2 turns, and we can actually set that up. So we'll keep moving forward. We're almost done with our 30-turn primer. I think this is on the wind down and do what we can stage. We can also be having a couple more riled researchers, eh? So, this is always one that I find quite tough, because both of the things can be so good. So this will be minus for us right now. Like, let's look, we have 3, almost 4 systems. So that'll be minus 30, or sorry, minus 60 to 80 science, of which we're producing 179 right now. So like, that's a serious hit to the science, but the benefit that you get from it of doing plus 30 industry means that we're getting like plus 50% industry, plus 50% industry, double industry as we're making our mega indie consultancies and like trying to produce this stuff early on. So, this is really hard. And then, but the downside for the other one, the 20 dust per system, also will like nearly bankrupt us. We'll have to really compensate for that. But we can charge so far ahead in science because, especially if we have a lot of systems, we'll get 90 extra science right now, and it'll go up to 120 extra science. It'll almost double our science production. So trading between doubling our science production and doing so much for our industry, but not doing much with our science, is really tough here. But I think that there is a clear choice, which is that right now we're at a stage where our science is more or less okay. The only other thing that we really want next is going to be this guy to give us more CP and to make titanium slugs, our sieger ships, as I call them. And so what I would do here is actually take the industry one so that we can finish all of our improvements, make a bunch of new incubator ships, and reach out to these last 3 colonies as well. Let our science take a hit, not go completely bankrupt, and with that, then charge forward, making a bunch of accelerators as we finish these things here. So I'm going to choose to ignore them. And hopefully Astrofinance will still get done. I'm hoping. Okay, no probes this turn. It's turn 29. These guys are happily healing in their hangar. By next election, so turn 40, we should have the militarist thing finished. Our militarists are already gaining ground for sure. And this will definitely slow up our science for a while. Like, it's such an impactful event. But I think that we'll be okay with this. It's a really tough decision to make, by the way. I think that you could make arguments for both the bonus to science or the bonus to industry, which I think are not already in place as well from riled researchers. So, yeah, it allows us to finish a lot of stuff. Alright, so let's move to our final turn. And by the way, we're going to want to put him back into into a city or into a system as soon as possible. Probably into this one, where we can get the mega indies finished right away. So we went up to so we went up to 50 here, which means we're at 50 science and dust, which is nice since we're not producing a lot of science from other places. So we're still at 103. Yeah, only getting a 10% bonus on omniscience, because that's a common one a lot of people go for early. So we'll throw him in here as well. We've got a nice little fleet. If we wanted to do it, it'd be 175 power, 300 defense. You know, this is nowhere near what you can get to with Cravers, but it's not bad, right? And that's the point, that we're moving along in the tech tree in all directions simultaneously, while maintaining some actual military presence and building up for a serious military snowball once this guy gets going. And he's not there yet, but once this stuff comes through, getting the energy weapon damage for the fleet, he just gets so good. Okay, and we can't replace him yet, yeah. Okay, so here, next thing I want to do is we have room for an extra incubator. So I want to make another incubator. And I want to just settle these places. So that means we are going to need 2 incubators. These guys are going to go here, and this is still our final turn, right? We finished our Astrofinance, which gives us access to level 2 system developments. But you see here, it takes 40 for us to upgrade. So Eden Incense is not the way we want to go. We're going to go with Dust Trees, because we're getting 2 Eden Incense a turn, but we're getting 8 Dust Trees a turn. And we're going to start with our biggest population one, because the level 2 will give us +4 dust per person. So that's going to be a nice boost in dust. And we even unlocked an extra population slot for our folks here. So that's very nice. Yep. Of course, our Sophon does better there. The Pilgrim will do better over here. But I actually think probably the Pilgrim is better right here for now. Regardless, here we go with that. And yeah, I think this is when we'll start winding down the video. So we talked a bit about ship construction, we talked about laws and the special things that the Sophons do. We could be playing around with this a bit more, but I'm happy now that our population is a bit higher, we sacrifice more on the influence side in order to do that. And influence is going to be important because we want to get some of this extra science from minor civs. This science is also multiplied by omniscience, so it gets even better if we're researching new things. And now let's just go through. So like our total science is 112 at turn 30. Not impressive compared to the other things we do. Our score is 162. We're, I think, bottom of the pack. I guess above a couple of guys, right? Above red and above the Empire we've been screwing with, and above pink. But yeah, not exactly point leaders. But we've got a nice little fleet going on. We're going to be able to make more. And we've got our little section of the universe kind of secured. A section of the galaxy, I suppose. So Sophons definitely are not the strongest race, but if you can get a decent, like you can build a decent snowball with them, and they can play for late game really well. On our systems, you can see, like, you know, we're hovering around. This is, of course, inflated because of our riled researchers, and this one was deflated because of our riled researchers. So this should be substantially higher, right? So I'm sorry that we got that event as a benchmark. So I would say this is actually supposed to be 66 higher, so more closer to 200. Like, yeah, 188 or 178, so like 180. And these guys should be lower substantially. So more like 30 and 80. But unfortunately, we had the event, so the comparisons aren't going to be perfect. As far as ships go, like we discussed, the accelerator has really good defense and needs to get some powerful weapons in order to do any damage. The magnet is a piece of crap that I don't recommend spending any time on. Just use it for fleet boosters later. And yeah, and get some allies of minor civs, because they help you out so much, especially in the dust and science category, because your own systems are going to grow so slowly that it will feel like it's, like they're barely doing anything. With that, I think I'm going to wrap up this expert guide. Thanks so much for joining me on my little trip with the Sophons, who I think are, the second or third weakest race in the game, after the Horatio, who I think are the weakest. And yeah, I think definitely I encourage you guys to embrace the challenge. I've been having fun playing them, because their strategies are so different, because they can go in all directions at once. And I think that if you want to take that challenge and not just steamroll through the game as Unfallen, grab that bull by the horns and take it. All right. Please, as always, let us know in the comments of this YouTube video how you liked it, and if you have any questions, we tend to be pretty responsive in thinking things through with you, and I've really been enjoying learning from the community as you guys react to the videos as well. And with that, this is James from Forex Alchemist signing off. Hey guys, one last thing. Sorry, I forgot. In the comments of the YouTube video, just like with the other ones, there will also be a save game file to this game at turn 30, like a Google Drive link to that save game file. If you guys would let me know, I would love to hear if having the access to that save game file is useful, if any of you guys have actually picked up that one and played the game. I don't know how many downloads have happened, or if there's another way that we can kind of like get you into the game with the Sophons here, or with the other expert guides. We've also thought about maybe for these videos providing turn 1 saves and turn 30 saves. So let us know what you guys think in the comments here. Thanks.